Stay tuned for Airgun Detectives.
Welcome to another episode of Airgun Detectives. I'm your host, JC, and today we're going to take the mystery out of the Cometa Fenix 400 USC Premier. Man, that is one long title, that's for sure. But hey, before we get into this, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down in the corner. Doesn't cost you anything, it's absolutely free, but it really helps support the channel, and I would greatly appreciate that. In addition, you want to support the channel, check out my website, www.airgundetectives.com. On that site, I've got t-shirts, I've got hats, I have my Generation 2 bipods. I also have trigger screw kits for you Gammo shooters, the Gammo break barrels that either have the SAT or CAT triggers. Very, very minimal investment, and you will turn that trigger into a match trigger. Check it out. Also, I have some of my inventory. I'm going to be putting a lot more on that. As I said before, I clear out inventory. I try to sell that for whatever. And then I take those funds so I can purchase new stuff and bring you guys some new items. So that's how that works. All right, let's get back to our Cometa Fenix 400 USC Premier. Yes, that is one long sentence. By the way, did you guys know Cometa, it means shooting star? I mentioned that when I reviewed a couple Cometas in the past, but it means shooting star. So anyway, what we have here, this is a .177 caliber break barrel spring piston air rifle. And I like the spring pistons over the gas rams just because the springs are so easy to replace. You can increase the velocity if you want to put a little heavier spring in. You have just lots of options. So I really do like the spring pistons. This rifle, as you'll see, has a absolutely gorgeous walnut stock. It's ambidextrous, but it's got the adjustable cheek rest. Simple adjustment there. But it's absolutely beautiful, beautiful stock. The rifle itself weighs about 6.8 pounds, so it's just under 7 pounds. It's 41 inches overall, and it has a very short barrel on it. It's only got a 9-inch barrel. Think about it, 9-inch barrel. It's almost pistol length, that's for sure. They claim it'll shoot around low 900s. Like I said, this is in .177. It does have an 11mm scope rail, and what we accompanied this with is just a little BSA outlook. I like these. These hold up well on the break barrels, and they're reasonably priced. So I'll give you guys a link at the end. We'll mention it once more. Also, the trigger on this, fantastic. This is actually an upgraded trigger. This is a metal trigger blade on this one, and that is an upgrade. And you can tell why they painted it gold. So anyway, so that's an upgrade. So I really want to thank my buddy Don out of Washington. He's the reason we have this rifle. He sent it to me, and when I'm done, I'll forward it to him. But he sent it to me just to check it out and give me some more subject matter, which is fantastic. And then when I'm done with it, it'll land in his lap. But let's see how well this rifle performs. It looks good. There's no question about it. It looks good. And it is moderated. It does have a suppressor on here, and it's all metal. Metal barrel, metal suppressor, and it makes a great cocking handle. It really does, because you have this short barrel. It's not a bad cocking effort as it is, but this really makes it comfortable, makes it easy. So again, let's go out, check out the performance, and then we're going to come back and talk about it. So stay tuned for the next segment. All right, let's test out our Cometa for some velocity here. What we're going to use is, I'm going to just use some basic Crosman Premier hollow points, 7.9 grains, so you guys can kind of get a judge on the velocity. And then I'm going to show you how well it does with another pellet, which is the most accurate pellet in this rifle. So let's just shoot 5 shots over the crony. We'll average it out, give you your foot-pounds of energy, and we'll go from there. All right. And shot number 1. 941. That's a pretty good velocity. Shot number 2. 935. And shot number 3. 938. Shot number 4. 936. Whoa, what a low standard deviation. That's terrific. And let's do one more. .937. Whoa, that is really a low standard deviation. And I do not have a whole lot of rounds through this. So anyway, another pellet did really good. These H&N Barracuda matches. These are a 10.65 grain pellet, but we averaged about 790 feet per second, so just under 800 feet per second. But we were getting just a shade under 15 foot-pounds of energy. Not too shabby for a 177, that's for sure. All right, let's move on to the next segment. Let's test out our Cometa for some accuracy. Definitely has some good velocity as far as a chrono test goes. We're going to use a little heavier pellet in this. We're going to use a 10.65 grain. These are Barracuda match. We'll shoot 5 shots. We'll see how well it groups. Don't worry if they all don't end up in the red or not. We just want to see what a group is. Also, I'm going to be using these HD targets again. I mentioned before I ran into these guys at SHOT Show. Sent me some targets to test out, so that's what we're doing. I'll leave you guys a link down below. So far, I'm liking them. Definitely liking them, that's for sure. Anyway, we're our usual 20 yards. Go ahead and check that out real quick. You can see our fresh HD target down there. So let's go, let's punch some holes in it, see how well we do. Easy cocking effort. I do like this, the shroud on this thing. It's very easy to cock. All right. Yeah, off camera, this thing stacked the pellets really good. I'm hoping we can keep that up. So far, so good. Oh yeah, that's 3. 2 more. Four. And 1 more. Man, this thing is a tack driver. It really is. And let's give us 1 more shot. Let's see if we keep this group going. Wow. Okay, I'm impressed. That's a heck of a group. It really is. It definitely likes the heavier pellets, but it's probably because it's pushing out that pretty good velocity. All right, let's move on to the next segment. All right, let's test out the pull weight on our Cometa here as far as the trigger goes. We got our trusty Lyman trigger gauge. This is adjustable trigger. I totally adjusted it from the stock position, but the screws are right there. It's easy to do. But let's see what our pull weight is now. 1 pound, 2.7 ounces. 1 pound, 2.7 ounces. Yeah, you can really dial these triggers in, and I really like the first stage to be really soft, so you can just kind of pull it. It goes up against a wall, and then once you hit that wall, just a little bit more pressure, you know it's going to go off. So I love predictable triggers. So these really do have nice triggers. All right, let's move on to the next segment. Usually, I say usually, I emphasize that, plinking is my favorite part of the review. However, I decided to share a little bit of pain with you. This rifle is a tack driver at 20 yards, even out to 30. Okay, we move it out to 40, it's a little different story. My groups are starting to spread out on me, and I was getting really frustrated as far as trying to get it to hit these smaller targets at that type of distance. So I was playing with the scope, trying to center it the best I could. So I found the best spot I could, but I'm just going to share my pain with you. Watch, on camera it'll probably be a different story, but we'll see. Anyway, this does like the heavier pellets. It is a little bit of a breezy day, but not enough to affect it. We're going to use a 10.65, the H&N Barracuda matches. We're our usual 40 yards. Go ahead and check that out. We got a large ram there. We got several eggs and a little chicken there. Okay, we're going to try to take these out the best we can, and we'll go from there. So you might be able to feel my frustration and my pain, but we're just going to keep shooting until we can knock all those targets down. So whether this is going to be a 1-minute session or a 5-minute session, you're going to see my pain. We're going to start with the easy guy, the big guy, and I'm just going to aim right in the center of him and see what happens. All right. That was a good hit. So I say, maybe you guys brought me some luck being on camera here. We'll see. All right, little egg. Whoa, that's 2 in a row. Okay. What do we got next there? Little chicken. All right, I'm eating my words right now. Maybe I just found the sweet spot for this. Well, let's see. We got 2 more eggs to go. See what happens. All right. Yeah, see? There you go. That's what frustrates me. You'll hit 2 targets, and then all of a sudden the next one you have no idea where that pellet hit. All right, I'm gonna do it again. Okay, that nicked it. You see it turned the egg there. Let's try to hit the one to the right. Got that one. Do we try to hit the edge of that one? Let's just take 2 shots and see if we can get it. If not, we'll move on. All right, let's see. Nope. 1 more shot. So you guys experience a little bit of my frustration. This thing definitely spreads out more at 40 yards. Oh, I turned it again. All right, with that, I'm taking 1 more shot. So it means we're getting close. We're nicking it. I just hate leaving a target up on the stand there. Yeah, we're going to leave one up on the stand. I'm not going to keep shooting. There's my frustration. This thing will hit fantastic, 1 or 2 targets, and all of a sudden I get a flyer. And then again a flyer. So this thing 30 yards and closer is a tack yard driver. You put it out to 40 yards, it's a little different story. And believe me, I cleaned the barrel several times, changed up some pellets a couple times. Still, the best ones were these Barracuda mats. So anyway, this doesn't like the great distance, that's for sure. So you're probably looking at a 2-inch group when you're at 40 yards. So anyway, let's move on to the next segment. We'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. All right, let's wrap this up with our conclusion. Well, how do you think our Cometa did, our Phoenix here, our 400? I'm not going to do the whole title, way too long. Anyway, I think overall it had a pretty good performance. It really did. I do have a few gripes with the rifle, and we'll go ahead and mention those. But overall, it's really a fun rifle to shoot, and it shoulders really nice. I like the compact feel of it, and it's really good looking rifle. Okay, and my gripes are very small. Number 1, when I put this together, they made the stop pin holes on this extremely small, and most of your stop pins are much larger. So I had to modify a stop pin to actually get it to work properly in here. Wasn't a big deal, I'm just mentioning it. So I did that, I modified it so our scope would be nice and stable. All right. My number 2 negative, and this is really petty. I gotta tell you, this is really petty. See the trigger blade here? It's painted gold. It looks like someone painted it with a paintbrush. It just doesn't look very good. It's not a very good paint job. I would have just left it black, but I probably understand why they did it. They wanted to show the difference between the metal trigger and the stock black plastic trigger. So that's probably why they painted it gold. Anyway, me personally, just leave it black. That's what I do. My other negative is this thing is a tack driver from 30 yards and less. So anywhere from 0 up to 30 yards is tack driver. When you go beyond that, the round starts spreading out. So this is really up to 30 yards. And you know what? You kind of expect that. It's got a 9-inch barrel. That's a pretty short barrel. So I guess you'd kind of expect that to happen. But let's get into the positives. Those are my negatives. The positives. The stock on this is absolutely breathtaking. I mean, if you look at the grain on this, it is just insane. I mean, look at the grain on this side, and then, oh, especially look at the grain here on that side. But it is fantastic. I love the stock on this thing. I love the compact feel. This gun is so compact. I love the fact that it's ambidextrous, so Yes, you left-handers, right-handers, everybody can be happy with the same rifle. I like the fact it's a spring piston. I told you that before. I prefer that over the gas rams. I've seen way too many gas rams fail. The springs are just so much more reliable. Plus, they're easy to modify. I like the trigger on this. Besides the paint job, I don't like the paint job, but I like the trigger. The trigger worked great. And I adjusted it well under 2 pounds. You saw that in the trigger test. But it's got a great light first stage. You hit the wall and then a little bit more pressure, it goes off. Now, I do have to say, there is a recoil on this gun. You definitely can feel the recoil. So it takes a little bit getting used to, but I found out it likes a firm hold. It definitely likes a firm hold. The suppressor on this works fantastic. It really makes the rifle quiet, backyard friendly, and it makes a great cocking handle. It makes life really easy, especially with a short barrel, but it's not a heavy cocking effort anyway. It really isn't. I like the velocity that you get out of it. It's set up pretty nice. You're getting about 15 foot-pounds of energy out of a 177, and that is more than efficient for small game and pest control. It really works out well. The scope on here, real quick. This is a BSA Outlook. I'll leave you guys a link below. One of my favorites because they're very inexpensive. The glass is clear on them, and they are designed for the air rifles, for that double reverse recoil, and they seem to stand up pretty well, and they have a 1-year warranty. So I will leave you guys a link for that if you guys are interested in putting one of those on your air rifle. What do these things run? They run right around that 300, 350 mark, right around there. So how would I rate this? Well, let's talk about it. First of all, it does have a great stock. It's got a nice trigger. My only negatives were, you know, having to modify the stop pins because they're so small, but it's just not that big a deal. And I don't like the painted trigger, okay? But one of my bigger negatives is the fact that the accuracy drops off after 30 yards, and that's because it's a short rifle. So you'd really have to focus. This is going to be your rifle from 30 yards and shorter. That's going to be. Now, you can probably shoot 2-inch groups at, you know, 2.5, 3-inch groups at 40 yards. So it's still not that big a deal. I'm just being picky on this. So overall, I'd rate this one about 4.5 stars. Definitely 4.5 stars. So it's a nice rifle, and I would definitely consider adding one to your collection. Dawn, this one's going to be on its way to you. Again, thank you for providing the subject matter for this so you guys could just get an insight of what Cometa has out there. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Airgun Detectives. Don't forget, this is where we take the mystery out of the airgun. Until next time, I hope you and your family are doing well and you're getting plenty of shooting in. So take care and God bless.